Welcome back once again. It is time for the Super Sully Sunday stream, 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern, weekly. That's right. The most fun you will have with your clothes on. Weekly. We're talking about comic books. We also talk about hockey, cooking, spirituality, gratitude. Subscribe. If you haven't subscribed yet to the channel, what are you waiting for? 50% off free right now with this special introductory offer. Please speak to the regional manager's assistant. He will be here to help you. Hello, everyone out there. Hello, Lane Kramer. Good to see you. How you doing? I'm working on it. I am. I'm losing weight. I have a plan. I really do. I'm actually in a health crisis right now. I'm starting to feel my age, and I'm starting to let's put it this way. This is going to be a sober September for your Sully. That's right. No beer, no cannabis gummies. That's the hardest one, is the cannabis gummies. They look at me every time I open the fridge. I keep them in the fridge. Well, because in the heat, it'll decrease their potency and they'll degrade. What's up, James? Good to see you. How are you? Cheers. So this time next year, you'll be big as Sting Circle 1992. Well, cool. Actually, I'm on a weight loss plan right now. I am dedicating the rest of the month to wellness. I've come across a bit of bad health, and only I can do something about it. I'm starting to develop hypoglycemic spells, foggy-headedness, and fatigue, and panic. And it's not just I already have PTSD. I already have panic attacks. So this thing that I'm going through now, I described to a friend of mine with diabetes. And he says, it sounds like you're dumping. And dumping is a diabetic term when you have blood sugar spikes. And that makes sense, because a lot of these things come on after I eat something, especially that's high in carbs. So I'm eliminating sugars from my life. I'm also eliminating my beloved French press coffee system. I had to go get a brand new Mr. Coffee. I got a tiny one with an alarm clock so I can set it up to start brewing before I get up. So I can walk into the kitchen and smell the aroma of freshly brewed coffee. But the oils that are in coffee can really boost up your triglycerines, I heard. So I didn't know that. So if unfiltered coffee is so I needed to switch to a coffee brewer with a paper filter, because the paper filter absorbs those oils, and it's pretty rough, So I had a rough last week, and it diminished the more and more I mitigated my intake of sugar. Like last weekend, I had a pretty wet weekend. I drank an 18-pack of Miller Lite over 2 days. And that's not too far of the course for me, usually in the past. But in this now, you got to realize that beer, it was only Miller Lite, but just saying that it's only is some kind of weird kind of reasoning. But it's sugar water. I've brewed plenty of beer with my friends, and it's basically sugar water. You heat up the water, you add wort to it, which is malt extract. You make wort, and from there you throw in yeast. Yeast eats sugar and shits out alcohol. That's life. That's biology. So buttons, as Ma says. I have to do something about it, and my plan includes weight loss, exercise, and a better diet. And that's all I can do. I have a general practitioner doctor. I'm blessed and grateful. Through my union job, I have really good health insurance. So I'm destined to go in and get some blood done and some blood tests and just figure out what's going on with me. I don't know if I'm diabetic, and I don't want to be. But nobody Nobody says they grow up. They grow up. They want to be jelly. That's an old card. That's an old commercial. What's in the bag? We got some funny books that we bought at our local comic book shop this week. I've been on a bunch of shows this weekend. I'm actually fresh from recording some Patreon content with Wes at Thinking Critical. Doc is on vacation this week and next week. So this week we did Doc's Q&A, and we had the ringers of me and Dylan, the real comic book gamer, that we filled in for Doc this week. And we had about 2 hour conversation, 2 hours of content that you can find at Wes's Thinking Critical's Patreon. And I hope you enjoy every minute of it. Have a good time. And don't be surprised if you see me on it next week, too. I am proud to be Wes's the bench player. So if I get the call, I'm going to suit up. What is going on in the world of funny books? I read 16 Marvel books this week, review copies. I bought how many comics? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One of them is a Marvel comic. So for 16, I read 21 floppies this week. Lane says, I've changed my diet recently in the last 6 months. I've switched out pretty much losing all sugar items, but not all. Yeah, I got a couple of personal size pies. Like I have a sweet tooth. I love ice cream. I love pie. I love cookies. So I've got a cherry pie in there that I'll have for dessert, and I cut it into quarters and I eat a part. It's still a little personal size pie, and I eat like 1/4 of it every 15 minutes. And so I don't have and if I start to feel bad, I won't eat the rest. I also have, some ice cream in the fridge that needs to, and it's low calorie too, but I definitely need to lose some weight. I'm currently at 214 pounds and back up to a 40 size waist, maybe even a 42. And that's where I was back in 2020. And when I started, and during lockdown on furlough, I stopped drinking and I adapted a portion diet where I would purposely eat under 2,000 calories a day. And so I know the method. I can do it. I've done it before. And, so I know I can lose 5 pounds a week if I stick to my diet in a way, or, 3 to 4, but 5 pounds, if I can do like 1,400 calories a day and expend myself. See, I don't drive. I walk everywhere. I take public transportation, so I can substitute my 3-minute bus ride for a 15-minute walk. That's about a little less than a mile. In addition to all the walking I do at work, I'm a professional chef. I work on my feet. I don't sit at a desk. So buttons. I know I can do it. I can expend. I also have a treadmill that I bought that I have to assemble. I need to carve out a space for it in the house, and I'll get there. And but I'm gonna see how much I can do with diet, exercise, and weight loss. So just I would love to get back to 180 pounds. I would love to get back to like a 36 waist. And I would love to get back into a large t-shirt, because I got way too comfortable wearing sweatpants, way too comfortable in extra large t-shirts. And that's that. I hope you're all doing well out there and being healthy too. And happy Sunday, happy football season. I'm keeping an eye on the New England Patriots and their home opener. We're hosting the Las Vegas Raiders, and it's a little past halftime. So, but also the big review for this week is the new Batman #1, written by Matt Fraction with art by Jorge Jimenez. And I read it. Well, Wes gave me, he sent us all review copies because we are his review team. I made a bad joke yesterday on the show, and I want to rescind it. I said, well, Wes sent us a pirate copy, and Wes immediately put his foot down. I was like, no, I sent you a review copy because we are reviewers, and that we don't advise pirating. We don't, because we are reviewers. And if you go to the high seas, it's just a bad look, and I'm not going to do that to Wes or in his channel or endanger his reputation. I know that Richard C. Meyer is trying to do that on his own, and he's not going to work either, because, geez, like, how are you supposed to take Richard C. Meyer seriously after years and years and years of punching down on women and women of color and disabled women of color? It's interesting that he's punching across now to grown men, which is, go for it. I mean, but I've never been more, it's interesting once it hit close to home, because I'm on Wes's team. I'm part of the Thinking Critical Comics Aficionados team. I'm happy to be part of it. I earned a spot, and I'm so, please just punch that Wes can, hit me up. Like, hey, can you fill in real quick for this? And, and also I'm on every Saturday now. And that's, it's an honor, dudes, dudettes, men, ladies, everyone in between in the grand spectrum of humanity here on planet Earth and beyond. But yeah, that was a bad joke. And I was being facetious. I just wanted to sound cooler than I was. And no, it's not a pirate copy. We it's a legit review copy that we read. And we're going to get to it in just a few minutes. Yeah. So grab yourself your favorite beverage, grab yourself, hopefully a willing partner and dozy-do. And, let's get to it. Let's look at some comic book art. Let's review Batman #1. A bold new era starts here. And here we are. This is the A cover, drawn by Jorge Jimenez. It's written by Matt Fraction. There are 52 images here. We're going to go through them all because we like to, being a comic book fan, and I'm sorry, I'm going to be clicking back and forth, trying to keep attention to the chat as much as I can. Because when I switch tabs, I lose the chat because I'm focused on something else. So don't think I'm ignoring the chat. I'll be back and catch up with you here and there. I did not buy a copy yet, but does it deserve a yes? I liked it. I ended up liking this issue more than I thought I would. I think there are two kinds of issues #1 that are made available to us as comic book fans. Issues #1 that are simply the inciting incident to a trade paperback. Those are my least favorite kinds because it's always like a bit of a disappointment. Then comes the issues #1 that tell a story and have a nice ending that's a kind of a bit of a cliffhanger that leads into the second issue. But it got your attention, and it's satisfying. This is the issues #1 that are the inciting incident to a trade paperback. I mean, usually more than are not all that satisfying. And I'm going to have an example of one when I show you the comics we bought for this week. This weekend I was on Wes's Thinking Critical yesterday, 10 a.m. U.S. Eastern on Saturdays. The Comics Aficionados. It was a great show. We talked about this very issue of Batman #1. And I was also on last night, 32 Flavors and Nick Weiser's Klobby Comic Shop, issue number 60. And I was on there with my old friend Pablo, Geek Tropology, Ironcaster, Nick, and Fenrir the Ice Wolf. And that was really fun. And I'll be on that show again. You can check all those out. If you go to my posts, I have links for both of those. And then this morning, I'm just did 2 hours with Wes and Dylan, the Real Comic Book Gamer, and here we are, 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern on our very own show, our show. And thank you so much for everyone that tunes in. Smash that like button, like and subscribe. If you're new to the channel, we got 2 more subscribers last night from Nick's show, and I'm so happy with that. We're up to 1,631 subscribers. We've earned every single one of them, and we're going to keep growing. Sometimes I think that the channel's plateaued. Sometimes I think that we have yet to begin. And I'm so glad that we're on this journey together. I'm thinking about making a second channel, though, dedicated for the hockey show, The Smoking Puck, for me and my future co-host, my childhood best friend, Brian. And, but that involves, I got to make a logo. I got to make a Twitter account. You know what I mean? I got to make a second channel, but oh my goodness. Hello, JK. How are you? Hi, all. Listening while cleaning. Well, cool. I did my cleaning today. I scrubbed my bathroom, my toilet. But this is only so gross it can get. I'm a single person who lives alone. And, did all my vacuuming and did my laundry. And it's good to see you, JK. Hope you and kiddo are having a wonderful day. And using my DJ voice here, of course. I'm looking forward to a nice big steak for supper for Sunday dinner. People have been raving about the last issue of Absolute Superman. And, I bailed on it at issue 8. I hit the wall. I'm like, at least I tried and I stuck with it, for a few issues. But it doesn't. I mentioned this on Wes's podcast today, the Patreon. It feels like all 6 of these titles that there's no connective tissue, editorial speaking. I mean, like we have this huge Globochem, this global corporation called Lazarus, that it's like Ra's al Ghul's thing with Brainiac in Superman, in Absolute Superman. But are there any instances of Lazarus in Gotham or whatever city that Diana's protecting with Steve Trevor in her book, or on Flash, or in Martian Manhunter, or on it's yeah, and that's the thing about this hypoglycemic thing. I get pooped really easily. It just boom hits me. And so that's what happened last week. I was like, oh, and I'm like, so I'm pretty much trying to get a handle of what's going on with me. And but you know what? I'm here, and we're gonna do the show, and we're gonna go as long as we can, or hopefully our usual, length of time. Absolute Martian Manhunter, number 6. I just read yesterday. It was one of the most confusing comics I have read in a long time. You should try Resurrection Man, Quantum Karma by Ram V and Mike Spicer. But it's beautifully confounding and confusing with wonderful art. It's Black Label, so with the Vertigo line being back, I don't know why something like this is not Vertigo, because this is this is definitely something that would have been a Vertigo book years ago. Like, they brought back the Vertigo imprint at DC. I haven't seen anything on the shelves. And it's just like, why bother? You're supposed to, I don't get it. Is Black Label just supposed to be what Vertigo used to be with the DC superhero properties? Because also Vertigo encompassed a lot more, different, independent voices with new creators and different stories. Indeed. But yeah, let's get back to Batman. Batman number 1 by Matt Fraction. It opens up with Killer Croc escaping from Arkham Towers, and it's a new status quo for Batman. And like I said, this is the A cover Do I have that up right? There we go. I do have that. Thank you. And let me know in the chat if my voice, because last week I didn't even know. I listened to the replay and I was so disappointed with the audio quality. I didn't even know that there was it was cutting in and out. So if you hear something like that, please let me know in the chat or the comment section later. Because I don't catch this until later, and hopefully something I can do about that. Maybe I just need to unplug everything, use some canned duster, and replug everything in, and hopefully that will work. But this is the A cover by Jorge Jimenez, the new Bat costume. He's gone back to the blue and gray with a yellow utility belt, and overall I'm really pleased with this look. This is the Batman #1 616 Mike Mayhew web store foil variant cover. Mike Mayhew. I wish there was a little yellow trim around the Bat logo, because that would just offset with the yellow utility belt and evoke the classic, Silver Bronze Age yellow oval. We're gonna go through all of these. Oh, look at that one. That's pretty cool. I'm not too keen on the design of the Bat itself. Yeah, and it's okay. Looking like this with the contrast to the red in the background. Oh, I did not get Batman #1. My LCLs did not get their polybag. I decided this one I would go for. So yeah, they got plenty of issues #1 at my LCS. So maybe I'll see which one I get. I was blessed and grateful yesterday for Wes's Thinking Critical's Comics Aficionados. We got to hang out with Comicsgate King Andy Smith. He's a good guy. I love his art. He's exactly what that exists for. Old comic pros who can't get gigs anymore because of this, that, the other thing. Or maybe because their page rate's too much, because they're that good. And it was a great time spent with him too. He got the Mark Silvestri cover. He was showing that off. Here's the Virgin variant of the same cover 3 times. I love the look that Jorge Jimenez gives to Gotham City. It looks less gothic and more modern, with a touch of the Gotham in there. This is Dave Wilkins' variant cover, and interesting, negative space in the background with the swarm of bats, with the trade dress. The trade dress would be the icon of the Batman down here. That's trade dress. And trade dresses also include the maker's mark, issue number, and credits. And see, the Virgin variant lacks that. It just has the maker's mark. Check out this one. This is from Tyler Kirkham. This is a foil variant cover from 616. Now, this is exclusive to 616 Comics. Now, 616 Comics. Oh, hey, Dwayne. How are you? Good to see you. Yeah, 616 Comics are doing something with Wes's Thinking Critical. And so much so that Richard C. Meyer, your boy Zach, accused him of a conflict of interest. Yeah, I'm being mean. Yeah, why not? He can dish it out. But he can't take it. Seriously, someone that's endured real live guns shot at him, can't take words. It's so cute. I mean, seriously, poor guy. But thank you for your service, Richard. All the same. The Tyler Kirkham variant again, this time with a trade dress on top. And this is the Virgin variant. The same, but without the trade dress. And on one side we have the Bat Cave. You can see the Bat computer. And the other side, he's bloodied with a torn cowl, and it respects the light source. And he has the bat signal in the background. This is the logo Virgin variant. And this is also what's on the blind bag. The blind is a bat bag. This was they have a $10 for $10 at my LCS, my local comic book shop, New England Comics of Quincy, Massachusetts. And that's what it looks like. Yeah. Now this is the connecting variant. This is the Jim Lee. This is his art. Who we have in the background here. We have the Doctor from Arkham Asylum. We have two Robins. So they both have new outfits. So we have Tim Drake, who has a color combination like he did way back in the 1 year later era, back when Con-El, Superboy Connor Kent died in Infinite Crisis. 1 year later, Tim Drake had taken away the greens out of his suit and went to red and black, because red and black were Connor's colors. He always had a black t-shirt with just a red Superman logo. That was just the diamond, a red diamond with a red S. Reminds me of an old Bill Cosby joke, you know what I mean? Superman is a disturbance, so he jumps into a phone booth to change real quick out of his civilian uniform and into his civilian clothes into his outfit. And in the middle of changing, he hears and it's like it's a policeman. And he says, "Yes, officer, how can I help you?" He's like, "Excuse me, what are you doing in there taking off your clothes?" And he said, "Well, I'm Superman." It's like, "Yeah, sure, you're Superman. You know, call in the guys with the nets and an ambulance for this guy." He's like, No, I really am Superman. Can't you see this red S on my chest?" He's like, "Yeah, I'll give you a red S and a black eye as well. Now get out of there." But bump, cheyo, waka waka. So we got two Robins here. So we got Tim Drake in the foreground with his new costume, and in the background with the green elements and a Robin logo that does not have a black R in it. And I like it would look. I think it would just look better if it was yellow and had the black R. I actually more of like I don't know. I'm just but that's Damian Wayne, and so Damian's losing his gray tone suit into something a bit more traditionally Robin, red, green, yellow. And in the background too, that's got to be Anarchy. Anarchy is a character from the 90s. He was a young character. And up top here, this thing with the butler suit and robot head, this could be a new character that we have based on an old character. We have a holographic AI that has the personality of Alfred Pennyworth, and we see him in the Batmobile reveal talking to Batman, who's on the case, and giving him the usual Pennyworth snark, which is kind of cute. So I'm thinking maybe, just maybe, Batman puts the Alfred AI into Failsafe's chassis, and we get a version of Alfred back. Or maybe Alfred will be joining us later on in this, and maybe we can get Alfred back. We do have, he's no longer Commissioner Jim Gordon, he's Officer Jim Gordon, and he's a beat cop in uniform on the streets of Gotham. Who is the commissioner of the GCPD, the Gotham City Police Department? That's one bad guy called Vandal Savage. But Vandal Savage is an immortal with access to some with the Lazarus Planet mini event that happened a while back. Well, apparently the meteor that fell back in prehistoric ages that gave Vandal Savage and Resurrection Man their immortalities and gifts. Well, it's got something to do with Lazarus Pits. So maybe I would love for that to get fixed somehow. Tom King's got a really awful impact on comics. He usually, his shtick, his gag, his bit is to usually kill a beloved major character. Oh, and so yeah, this is Jim Lee art. And Jim Lee cannot finish drawing Hush 2. Hush 2 is 4 months late. And yeah, I'm just okay. Thanks. He's too busy as the president of DC Comics to, finish the job that he started. And I also hear that Hush 2 is not a great story. Here is the Mark Silvestri art. Andy Smith was showing off. We have a wonderful composition here. The moon in the background. We have, and you can see all this. This looks like it was drawn with pencil. It's just really nice hatching, nice line work. I love this. This is great. If I see this one, this is $5.99. If I see this, I might get this one. J. Scott Campbell. This is a really nice. But see how glossy it looks. This looks like it was drawn on a tablet. It really does. And but yeah, so that's J. Scott Campbell cover. The Frank Quitely cover. I like this because I like Frank Quitely, but the digital gradients and the coloring in the background. What am I still bitching about coloring and digital stuff for? It's been 30 years, almost 30 years. That would have been 95. Well, at least 25. I didn't get. You know what I mean? Think about the buckle on this utility belt. What are the two pods here and these two raised things too? Think of like even bending over, trying to tie his shoelaces or pick something up. He's gonna poke himself in the belly with that. It's kind of weird. Gabrielle Dell'Otto. This is a Virgin variant. You can tell because it's got no trade dress. And this looks like a real art, like it was done with pencil. The Julian Totino Tedesco variant cover. It's okay, They have so many variant covers for this because of the blind bag. The blind is a bat bag. It's just there's a 1 in 500 and a 1 in 1,000 foil Virgin variant cover of the Jim Lee and one of the other ones. We'll figure it out. This is the Bat Symbol Virgin variant. Here is the Jorge Jimenez foil Virgin variant. The Stanley Art Germ Lau variant. It's a wraparound foil variant too. This is the blank cover. Imagine if you spent $10 on a blind bag and you got this. But I do like the corner box that it has, the issue number, the price, and it has the character. Not like the floating head, but floating heads were more Marvel style, but DC would have, a character. Andy Kubert, look at this. Loving this one with a classic looking Gotham City in the background with Zeppelins. Look at that. That's pretty cool. It's kind of digitally, but let's see. David Aja. It's too much blank space in the background. I'm not thrilled with the Zipatone filter on the inside of the cape. This is the 1 in 1,000 Jorge Jimenez blind bag alternate foil variant. Think about it. If you got this one, if you lucked out, your store would have had to have ordered 1,000 blinded of bat bags just for your chances of getting this specific issue. Dwayne Muth says, Jim Lee wakes up from his boardroom nap, then draws comics. I dropped Hush 2 because if he can't draw 6 issues, it's a clown and a cash grab. Did I interpret your emojis correctly, Dwayne Muth? I hope I did. I hope I did you proud, buddy. Wow. But imagine getting that. This is the 1 in 500 Jim Lee blind bag foil variant. So it's the line art he did. It's not covered, but it appears that it's gold foil. We have Andy Kubert variant, because the Virgin variants are a different copy than the ones at the trade dress. Here we go. Batman #1, Blind as a Bat. And what if you have a poly bag and you didn't open the poly bag? David Aja foil Virgin. Frank Quitely foil Virgin. Gabrielle Otto foil Virgin. J. Scott Campbell foil Virgin. Jim Lee connecting foil Virgin. This is connecting foil, but it's not a Virgin. That's what she said. Blind bag foil variant. Tedesco. Look at that. Now I would love to get this. This is the one that I would want. The Silvestri foil Virgin, the foil variant. Art Germ. This is a good one. I like this one a lot. This is character Bible stuff. This is a pointer. This is a reference thing that you would give to other creators if you're drawing Batman, coming like in Justice League, or over in Batman and Robin, or just anywhere else. If he's making an appearance in the upcoming Flash, he's got to look like this, because this is how he looks 2025, 2026. This is his look. I like these kind of covers. And it's, wow, look at this one. This is an East Coast Comics exclusive John Jiang foil variant. Now, overall, I was really pleased with the issue itself because it's self-contained. Now, Fraction has said that the first year, they're all going to be like that, like self-contained stories. And I really, that's a relief that they're not just over-dependent on the arc story, the story mode, which is just written for the trade paperback. Now it's going to have some connective tissue. I've already seen it. Like in the background, you have a mention on the news about this gang of this rash of ninja dojos that have sprouted up all over Gotham, and then you have Commissioner Vandal Savage saying that he's brought in some military contractors to assist the Gotham PD in keeping control of the city. Are they the same? Is that the recruiting ground for the military, contractors? Could that be related? I'm already speculating, but that's like the connective tissue, and that's going to be the B story going forward. Yes, you did. Oh, cool. Yes, I did. Jim Lee is going to waste my time, and I'll catch him in the dollar bin. Ha ha ha. Good way to put it, Dwayne. Awesome. This is a nice cover, though. I like this one because it's big on Gotham. Ooh, Riley Rossmo. Now I'm not going to diss Riley Rossmo. I think he's actually pretty good. I think the Tim Drake Robin that Megan Fitzmartin did, just like that was like, that it was cartoony. I think it was supposed to have been cartoony. It was supposed to have been campy because it was about, people's identities and not their secret identities, but they're like, their modern alphabet stuff, and leaned into that. But I like this cover a lot. That's really cool. And this is an ECGCE, whatever the hell that means. Maybe East Coast something, blah, blah, blah. Don't know. Dan Mora. Oh, this is pretty cool. And Dan Mora will be taking over art duties on Transformers starting next month. This week, it's going to wrap up Daniel Warren Johnson and Jorge Corona's 2-year-long opening arc. And Robert Kirkman's going to take over writing duties on Transformers with Dan Mora on art. We got Joker, Bane, Scarecrow. We see Deathstroke's sword, and we can see Killer Croc's claw over here. And it's a Virgin variant. And here's the regular. Felix Leon, the web store for the webs. Oh, hey, good to see everyone. Riley was good on Sandman last year. Yeah, he was. I thought so. I saw some of his black and white art without all the digital stuff on top of it, and I liked it even better. I would love to get a black and white version of that book. I know that, the digital effects and everything were supposed to put some kind of dreamy and retro kind of thing, because it was set in the 40s, so it kind of like the Ben-Day dot and Zipatone filters, but it's just too much sometimes, and it's like foil virgin variant. Ooh, Kyle New Batman on top of the Bat Signal. Indeed. And one part of the story too, Batman is back to being a vigilante without the support of the Gotham City Police Department. This is really cool. This is the Steve Lieber variant cover. The Hollywood Theater Rose City Comic Con variant cover. Ben Oliver's variant cover. That's interesting. This is supposed to be a church in the back, or stained glass in the background. One Stop Comic Shop variant. Who does but no, it doesn't say who did the art. That's kind of, come on. You got to give the artist credit. Dan Panosian variant cover. Now this looks like pencils. That looks pretty cool. You have a Gotham in the background. You have some photorealistic looking bats. And you have Batman with his batarang. Liam Sharp with a rose bush. Does that signify poison ivy? I don't know, but I like the hatching on the brick face in the background. You have the bat signal, and you can see the hatching and cross hatching, respecting the light source on his musculature, and it's really cool. Todd Knock. He always does a good job, Todd Knock. Very cartoony. Guillaume March. Oh, this one's pretty cool. I like how the chest logo blends into the signal in the sky. Maybe that's some foreshadowing. By the end of it, we'll have the return of Commissioner Gordon and the reactivation of the bat signal in the skies of Gotham City. Wow. Chris Stevens, exclusive foil edition from Unknown Comics. It's okay. And one with a trade dress. And we've come full circle. Haha. Me again did smart and blocked me because I congratulated her for destroying a Batman-related character in 10 months. Oh my goodness. Dwayne, can't take you anywhere. Alrighty. Yes, indeed. We were looking at pictures of steaks earlier, and should butter be served on steak? Hell yeah. What did I read this week? What digital copies did I read this week? I read 16 Marvel copies. Wolverine number 13 by Salim Ahmed. What to say? The 16 Marvel books this week, only 4 of them I thought that were decent to good. That means 12 of them are just clogging up space on retailers' shelves. And if you heard Jim, Werner, and Wes on Hot or Not earlier, the Patreon, I apologize for repeating what I'm about to say, because you probably already heard it. But Wolverine 13 perhaps was the best issue in Ahmed's run. I'm not saying it was good. I'm just saying objectively, over 13 issues of crap, it had the least amount of corn. It had the least amount of runniness to it, and the least amount of stink to it. It was firm. It was log-like and easy to pick up, but still crap. What to say about Gail Simone's Uncanny X-Men number 20? Except it's, when does this shit end? Oh my fucking God. It's so boring. It really is. Can you think of any worse runs of Uncanny X-Men and who wrote them? Would Gail Simone be at the top of the list? Or is there historically another writer who tops this? And I'm not trying to punch down on Gail Simone. I'm not. I'm just like 20 issues of this. It's not great. This is Uncanny X-Men, and this is what we're getting. Nobody wanted to write X-Men because, just after the hot mess that was Krakoa. I mean, it's got some radioactive half-life to it. Jed McKay's adjectiveless X-Men seems to be the best From the Ashes run. But, I mean, even From the Ashes itself, like all of these things, like Marvel is just regurgitating literally old stuff. Like they redid Inferno. They redid Gang War. From the Ashes, that's Chris Claremont, Uncanny X-Men from like 165 to 175 or so. That's like the post Jean Grey Phoenix stuff. So From the Ashes was already a previously used X-Men. You also had Fall of the House of X, and that was the new Fall of the Mutants. I mean, and we also have the Age of Apocalypse and the Age of Revelation, which is like the same thing. So it's like they're purposefully retreading old tires, and it's kind of and oh geez, and this week we got Excretional X-Men by Eve Ewing and the Chicago team with Kitty Pryde and Emma Frost, and it's such a terrible book. I mean, oh gosh, it's just, oh wow. Remember when X-Men used to be great? I do. Speaking of X-Men that should have been great, Ultimate X-Men by Peach Momoko. I love it when this title proves me right. This issue is all over the place. I mean, it's unimpressive artistically, and I usually have good things to say about Peach's panel progressions, her coloring, and her use of grotesque. But not here. And please identify any heroic or worthwhile male character in this issue or the 18 that preceded it. I'll wait. I'm waiting. Please tell me. And don't say Quanon's brother, because he's not. Because a couple of issues ago, you saw him punch a girl kind of thing. So every male in this fucking book is some kind of victim, self-deletion, horrible, the maestro, or the host of the Shadow King. And it's a shoujo manga. I mean, it's not an X-Men book. And I usually love Peach's stuff. From the Ashes, I think you said, From the Asses, more like it. Yeah, at least they stopped giving Fitzmartin books, JK. You're right there. And JK, I wish I knew more about the anime that you like. What's up with ninjas with one eye? I don't get it. Well, is it Naruto? I don't follow that stuff. Spider-Man 94. Put a pin in that. We'll get to that in a little bit. Laura Kinney Wolverine number 10 was a waste of paper if you consider the poor trees who gave their lives to make the paper this was printed on. Please think of the trees. They give us shade and fruit and housing for the birds and squirrels. What a cruel, pathetic fate for such a noble tree. I will light a candle for you on Arbor Day. Oh, tree, oh, tree, oh, tree. You have died in vain printing up this lousy comic book. I will avenge thee, as Khan said over Joaquin's dead body in Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. I will. Did you like that? Indeed. Doctor Strange issue 450. It was a a jam issue with a couple of anthology tales in it, celebrating the milestone 450th issue of Doctor Strange. I mean, how about no? It was a terrible issue. The first story, in I think of 4 or 5 that were in this book. They should have just got Pascal Ferry to draw it. Lee Ferguson ripped off his style and his panel progressions. It looked just like what Pascal Ferry was doing on the Doctor Strange book, the one with General Strange, and look, I know what Pascal Ferry's panel progressions look like and his art style. And this was you should have just got Pascal because he's a good artist. Igiguara had another one. It's about Ilyana Rasputin magic being mentored by Stephen Strange because she's a magic user. And Iguara draws a very, very nice Ilyana Rasputin, and someone who I've grown up with. And I had an age-appropriate crush in the mid-'80s while reading The New Mutants. I did. I had the biggest crush on Ilyana. I did. And so there, I said something nice, earning my nice guy street credit. But overall, Doctor Strange 450 is a huge miss. A huge miss. General Admission Strange is more like it. You got that right, Dwayne. Ha 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 ha. Exactly. Avengers 30 by Jed McKay. Art by Fareed Karami. And the art by Karami is always pretty good, but it just makes me scratch my head. When did Tony get back his Mark 72 Mysterium armor? I thought that he had to start over from scratch, armor wise, like according to the Spencer Ackerman run that just wrapped up and didn't take, or he was using the Silver Centurion armor because of the Jerry Duggan West Coast Avengers run. Oh, that would take an editor who gives a fuck about continuity. Right. Oh, Sully. Oh, and then it has them fighting. It has the Avengers fighting the Marvel zombies on the former Battle World. There's a remnant of Battle World from 2005. Secret War is still out there in the multiverse void of something or another, and the Marvel zombies are there, and they fight the Avengers. And there is a Disney Plus cartoon forthcoming. So, holy corporate syzygy at its finest, Batman. I need a sip of water before I overheat. Oh no! It looks like the Patriots are going to lose at home. Their new coach, Mike Vrabel, and their third time returning offensive coordinator, Josh McDaniel. Well, they don't know. Jeez, oh boy. Well, welcome to another season of football, kids. I'm a hockey fan. I'm looking forward to hockey season, even though my home team probably has the biggest potential of finishing dead last again. We had 2 Star Wars books this week. Star Wars, Han Solo, The Hunt for the Falcon, #1. We know how Han finds the Falcon. It's in The Force Awakens. So these are just like, what the hell do we need a book documenting Han chasing his tail, hanging out with Lando? The only good part about this book was him getting, hitting up Chewie to be like, hey, Chewie, let's go find the Falcon. And what's Chewie doing? He's on Kashyyyk with his wife Nala, his son Lumpy, in the treehouse that we see from Star Wars The Holiday Special from 1978. So I fondly remember that. People like to bash that thing. It's not that good, but it's very nostalgic for me. That came out literally on my birthday, and 1979 rather. And I was very excited for it, and I loved that animated sequence with the introduction of Boba Fett in his original coloring too. But yeah, I got a copy of the Star Wars Holiday Special at a con, I think last year or 2 years ago. I love hitting up the DVD and the Blu-ray bootlegger. That's my favorite part. One of my favorite parts of going to cons. I always carry a list with me being like, hey, you got this, you got that, you got this. Like this year I got in Dallas, I got Life on Mars and Ashes to Ashes, both the BBC versions. These are really good shows. And I finished my Clone Wars collection, buying a few here in Boston. I got the Clone Wars feature movie and the season 7, both of which are not in print. And especially season 7 of Clone Wars. I mean, people like me that have like the Clone Wars, all the 6 previous seasons on Blu-ray, and you can't finish this. You can't finish your collection. Why? Why, Disney? Why? Well, we're trying to direct traffic to Disney Plus. And if you want to see it, you're just going to have to get yourself a subscription. Oh, sorry about your shelf. Oh my goodness. It's AL. Peek a peek. Yeah, he gets excited. He loves his bag. He does. It matches his shoes. Hi, AL. Good to see you. Good to see everyone out there too. Please smash that like button. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. We have Star Wars: The Legacy of Vader, issue 8. It wasn't all that bad. It's got a decent story, but it's sequel territory, so it's a giant nothing burger. Charles Soule is, I think, he's the current ace of the Marvel Star Wars bullpen, because they used to have Kieran Gillen and Jason Aaron 10 years ago. And so now it's Alex Segura, Kevin Scott, and Charles Soule, who are like the rotation on Marvel Star Wars. And but so with Soule on a book, it's at least decent, it's well paced, but in the end, who cares? I mean, it's about it's a focus on the Knights of Ren, and it's set. Legacy of Vader is about Kylo Ren, and it's set between The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker. So now he's Supreme Commander Kylo Ren, because he's killed Snoke. So now he's in charge of the First Order, and he hasn't got to I don't even care where the Emperor is, and the reveal of Palpatine. Not Mustafar. It's like that other fucking thing. Who cares? It'll come back to me tonight. I don't care. I mean, geez. But I mean, the Knights of Ren, they ended up being complete nobodies, and they had to make some backstory for them, because they had a quick flash of scene in I think, I don't even know. I don't even remember. But in Last Jedi, they had there's a story note in Disney canon where you had the flashbacks to Ben Solo protecting himself from his predator uncle in the middle of the night, who snuck into his tent and watched the boy with his male gaze and whipped out his phallic lightsaber to use on his young ward. And what happened was that Ben Solo used the Force, and he destroyed the Jedi Temple, and they killed most of the students that Luke had there. But there were a few students that Ben Solo took with him. And I always thought that there's going to flesh out that the Knights of Ren were the students that Ben Solo took with him. And so it was kind of like this Star Wars version of a reverse Hogwarts. So he's kind of like, Ben Solo is some kind of Star Wars evil version of Harry Potter, and the Knights of Ren were his Gryffindor, and it didn't end up that way. Like the Knights of Ren were some kind of cosmic intergalactic biker gang that that Ben Solo fought for supremacy and killed the lead Ren and something blah blah blah, in some funny book. Who cares? I feel like they dropped the ball on everything Star Wars wise. Dwayne, don't do that to me, please. I'm not giving any of my time to anything Western until they start telling good stories again. Good for you. It's good to have standards. It really is. We had the completion of Gwenpool. Gwenpool number 5 came out this week and wraps up that horrible series of some. It's not a resurrected Gwen Stacy. It was one of her many clones that they weaponized into a weapon something. And then you had Gwenpool, Gwen Pool, who was the like the Deadpool Gwenpool, who breaks the fourth wall and knows she's in a comic book and uses like that Carrie Bates plotter power. That's like some Bronze Age, Earth Prime DC stuff. That's all. That's the best way I can describe that. And but thank God it's over. What a terrible book. Remember 5 issues ago when we were giving a fuck about Deadpool, about Gwenpool 1, about why are they bringing Gwen Stacy back from the dead, and how this broke canon and desecrated a beloved character, and it was just a bait and switch and ended up being a giant joke. This was such a stupid book. This should be a cautionary tale about giving fucks about shit like this. We wasted so many fucks bitching about this when it first came out. What was the use of any kind of... Do you remember that 5 months ago when we were all like, oh, this Gwenpool, oh, this thing, what's going on here? When we shouldn't have given any fucks about this. This was a complete waste. And hey, I'm usually very positive. I'm very uplifting. I don't like punching down, because what's the use? You just you just affirm all the negative stereotypes about the aging fan base. Oh, this wasn't made for youth. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, Jesus, well, you're so negative. Well, you're so insecure that you don't like it? Oh, my goodness. No, that's a you problem? Yeah, I've heard it all before. And we'll hear it again. We got some It's Jeff that came out. It's Jeff and Other Marvel Tales, Tails. So this is one of those pet forward things. As soon as I opened up this book and read the credits page, I could smell cat piss and estrogen. We have Kelly Thompson, which she's doing the yeoman's work on Absolute Wonder Woman. She really is. And she is the creatrix of It's Jeff. So her part in the beginning of these are all just these are just printed web comics from the Marvel Unlimited app, and they're online content. And so it's in 3 parts. You have It's Jeff, then you have Alyssa Q Wong and her alligator Loki, and those really sucked. And then you had Marvel Meow, which is just about like the cats of the Marvel universe. Rogue and Gambit have a cat. Bucky has a cat. Captain Marvel has a cat. Well, she's a flirt and not really a cat, but it's a cat and a cat. But there was one funny bit with the cats where they used Spider-Man's nemesis, the Sandman, as a cat box. That was kind of funny. But at least the Jeff parts reverted to form, to being like very Sunday funny page, Sunday newspaper funnies kind of look, where people talk in emojis. There's only usually one bit of dialogue where they look and go, Jeff, and everything else is like, it's non-verbal. It's all show no tell, and but it's not good. And but let's get to some good stuff. All new Venom number 10 came out. I have to admit, I've been consistently entertained for a little while, for at least the past 6 issues. Carlos Gomez's art is great. His Mary Jane is thick. THICC, pretty hot and tempting. She's thick and tasty. The Rick Jones Bucky look at the end was a nice nod to yeah. Surprisingly, I've taken to this book well. There was the Imperial War. We have the Jonathan Hickman miniseries, the cosmic miniseries Imperial. So we've got a bunch of titles that are spinning out of it, and one of them is called Imperial War Exiles. And I thought it was fine because its main characters are Shi'ar, the Shi'ar Empire, and Charles Xavier shows up, and the Empress of the Shi'ar Empire is Lilandra and Charles's daughter Chandra, and she's being mentored by Lilandra's evil sister Deathbird. And so the art was good, and they had these like great like introductory pages. You open up and there's there's two different groups of Shi'ar like warriors, and they all have some heroic introduction text with like these names and these costumes, and they don't matter one bit. I just think like, and they're just cannon fodder, and that's very Warren Ellis to me. And as an old time X-Men fan, I like the melodramatic notes of Charles and his family reuniting and reconciling. JK, good to see you. Thank you so very much, and come back soon. And definitely some good out there. But so is Aquaman, Flash Gordon, Conan, Batman and Robin, Robin and Batman, etc. And you could also take a chance on Batman #1. JK is saying I was just at Newbury Comics. I know why they have comics in its name. I don't know why they have comics in its name. There was only half a wall of floppies and a bookcase full of graphic novels. The rest is manga and geek merch. I home here in Boston to the original Newbury Comics in Newbury Street. I remember when they used to have back issues. They used to have back issue bins, and it used to be a real comic book shop. Now it's just one of those where you get Funko Pops, T-shirts, and reissues of vinyl records, and one shelf of new releases, and a couple of bookshelves full of graphic novels and mostly manga. But yeah, it's tchotchkes and prefabricated cool for the Big Bang Theory crowd. I get you though. Yeah. So yeah, Marvel Exiles, it was okay. It was fine. Moon Knight, Fist of Khonshu 12 was solid, and I think it's Jed McKay's best title of all the ones he's writing. Of course, it was kind of obvious who's hunting the Wrecker. The Wrecker being part of the Wrecking Crew. He's the one with the enchanted, crowbar. He's a Thor adversary, and he can beat up Hulk with this thing. So it's there are ghosts haunting the Wrecker, and but it's kind of obvious who he's haunting, because Jed McKay is not reinventing the shape of the wheel. But I like Moon Knight's dialogue and interaction with his cast of characters, and it was pretty good. It really was. And big issue this week, Amazing Spider-Man number 11, aka Milestone issue 975, for the discount price of $7.99, an extra jumbo king-sized Milestone issue. But another Milestone issue. We just had issue 950. We just had, there's so many Milestone issues that have been part of this Nick Lowe editorial run. It's like I'm milestoned out. And we got another one and 25 more issues. In about a year and 2 months, we're going to have Amazing Spider-Man issue 1000. Another cash grab. Remember, Amazing Spider-Man is still Marvel's flagship title. And I'll put your spoilers on for a second. We're going to talk about Amazing Spider-Man. The first two tales were really good, both written by Joe Kelly. And then there were 3 backup features that they were only there to bump up the page count, to justify the inflated cover price for the milestone issue. They did this back in, it was like about a year, it felt like a year ago, because this thing, Amazing Spider-Man releases twice a month usually. And that's probably like when 950 came out. Jeez. And it had the same kind of thing to it. So the best parts were the Joe Kelly and John Romita Jr. Scott Hanna parts that were set on Earth, and the Joe Kelly Pepe Larraz stuff, which are set in space. How did Peter Parker end up across the cosmos after he got beat down by Hellgate? He just mysteriously ends up somewhere in the cosmos with the words of Hellgate ringing through his head. Get stronger. So, and that's what he's doing. And Peter gets rescued from, it's a survival story. And so he ends up, it's Peter Parker who ends up becoming the Spider-Man in space. And so he gets a new space costume. So that black costume with the gold all over it, that's his space costume. And he'll be coming back to Earth whenever he comes back to Earth. Meanwhile, back on the planet Earth in Manhattan, we have Peter Parker and Spider-Man. But who's who and what's what? So we have Revelations, and we have amazing art by John Romita Jr. and Scott Hanna. I love John Romita Jr.'s art. I know a lot of people pish-posh him. Some of the panels are, I get it, but I overlook that because I enjoy his art. I'm a huge fan, and but it's about his camera work. Camera work is it's about panels and panel progressions, and just storytelling, and it's very cinematic. He's just I love Romita Jr.'s craft in his art. There's no one else like him, seriously. So we get Revelations. We know who is Peter Parker. Well, it's Ben Reilly, of course, at Chasm. And who is Spider-Man? Who's playing Spider-Man? It's Norman Osborn, the former Green Goblin, who is covering for Peter while he's missing. And, it's really interesting. I don't mind it. And I thought it was okay. Larraz's art is impeccable. It's really, really good. And but Johnny Romita Jr., his storytelling talent really elevates what could have been more mediocre than not. Wow. And those were all the digital comics I read. What did we have for real comics? I got 5 issues. Let's go down the one by one. I am a sucker for the black costume of Spider-Man. I am. A black costume came out when I was 11 years old, and I just love it. It's so simple and it's sleek. Great design. I love it. So I was suckered into this action figure variant cover. Look at that. I love action figure variants. I don't get enough of them. This is Spider-Man 94, issue number 1, written by J. Michael Straczynski. J.M. DeMatteis. Same guy who wrote this. Craven's Last Hunt. All right. J.M. DeMatteis. Art by Jim Toe. And so this is Spider-Man 94. And it's a continuation of the Fox Kids animated show. It picks up where it left off with Spidey has found MJ. And they've been reunited. And they're back together. And now life must go forward. And we have Molten Man, and we also have Kane. But is this a good book? No, it's not really great. I have buyer's remorse. This wasn't a good book. I will not be back for issue 2. I literally I got suckered by a wonderful variant cover because I love the black costume. That's okay. It happens. All right. I have weaknesses. JR Jr. has got a hell of a lot of mileage on him. Great story narrative, and Norman Osborn needs to stay in his lane. But that's the thing. Norman is saying, like, I'm gonna keep Spider-Man alive while you're gone, Peter, kind of thing. It was like this really impressive. Why don't I just show it? Yeah, because this is what I'm talking about when it comes to camera work. Give me a second here. I love. Let me just. I just want to. I'm just going to show the John Romita Jr. panels. Oh, look at this stuff. Like, why are you posing as Peter Parker? Oh, none of your beeping business, a wingding suffice. I love Johnny's art style. They're beating each other up. They're obviously hiding a different build in the tech that's helping you out. But the real giveaway is no spider sense. No sense at all. You're strong, fast, and agile. Not as verbose either. That's a relief. Doubt you could pull off his humor. And, and then he reveals himself as Chasm. Peter and Ben Reilly, of course. And he throws him into a chimney, and the chimney's falling. And then he's like, that's TWIP. And he's like, Chasm realizes that, oh shit. Oh man, I could have hurt those people. I love the design of Chasm's outfit. Felicia shows up. Shocker's healing from his wounds, detangling with Norman Spider-Man, with Tombstone. And then, that's Janine, who was Hallows Eve. And then we have the dual narrative of Aunt May. Peter is missing. I don't know why Ben Reilly hasn't been by to see, Aunt May. But these 3 panels here, he saved my life. I will save his dream, his legacy. These 4 panels. I think this is what I'm talking about, camera work, about storytelling. I think this is great art. This is a great artist who knows how to tell a visual story. Can anyone blame me for choosing his over mine? That's great. And then someone's watching him, whoever this guy is. Or Semper Nostrum, thus to, it's a play on Sic Semper Tyrannos. You know what I mean? Yeah. Or did Green Goblin kill Gwen? Exactly. I mean, he's got a dual personality. Is Norman really Gobby? I know. Flash Gordon, number 11 on Mad Cave Studios. We got art by Will Conrad, story by Jeremy Adams. Great stuff. Great art. Don't sleep on Flash Gordon. It'll reward you for being a good reader. It's fun. It's easy to get into. It's a classic adventure character. And it's a solid recommendation from us here at the channel. And we wrap up Ram V's Black Label with Mike Spicer, Resurrection Man, Quantum Karma. Interesting book, great art. I have to go back and read all of these just to try to get it. But one thing I realized here in the double page spread in the center, It's as he's falling into the cosmos, into reality, into I got Phantom Stranger. I can barely tell you what's going on here, but I'm going to tell you that it's fading into black. It's fading into black, and then we have a bold double-page spread of nothingness, and then rebirth as he's looking into this book. And John Malin did this in Godlike. And John Malin is a Comicsgate creator. He did a notorious and kind of late book called Godlike, and he did the same thing when his hero Adam Ra has his death and rebirth, as gods do. He had the same double-page black spread, and I thought it was such an ambitious and a provocative, pregnant pause. I thought it was really good storytelling. It was brave of him to do that, and he got a lot of shit for it. But I wonder if Mike Spicer and Ram V are ripping off John Malin, or is this just such a common trope in comics? You let me know in the chat or in the comment section later on. I got Philip Kennedy Johnson's Book of L, issue number 1. I got a variant cover because all the A covers were already sold out at 3 o'clock on Wednesday. The store's only been open for 4 hours. So they must have got more variant covers than A covers, because it was either this at $4.99 for a variant cover, or a 1 in 25 or a 1 in 50 variant cover, for about $15 and $30. But this is what DC's doing with variant covers. Marvel does it sometimes too, but it's such a cheesy, it's such a cop-out, because is this a variant cover? Is this really a variant cover? Let me know in the comment section if you think. Let me know in the chat. Is this a variant cover? We have a cardstock variant cover that's stapled on top of the A cover. The A cover that goes, for how much? $3.99. This is the A cover. So you get 3 extra advertisements. Okay, you got the back cover, the inside cover, and this inside cover. But that's not really. This is not really a variant cover. This is just a cardstock, extra page stapled over the existing A cover. I don't accept. This is a variant, a legit variant cover. It's so cheap to do. And then, as earlier as I was comparing to Batman number 1, which was a satisfying issue number 1, this is the inciting incident of a trade paperback. Now, I love Philip Kennedy Johnson's writing. I know this book is going to get better as the story progresses. But was it a satisfying issue number 1? No, it was not. Am I in for this? Sure. I like Philip Kennedy Johnson's Superman work. I like the War World stuff. That's where I got back on the Superman train about 3 years ago, was with his stuff on Action Comics. So, yeah, I have faith in Philip Kennedy Johnson. He's a really good writer. But this was not a real satisfying first issue, just because it is the inciting incident of an arc story of the trade paperback. And the pick of the week. What is the pick of the week? The pick of the week is G.I. Joe from Skybound, Image Comics from Larry Hama, art by Paul Pelletier, and this is issue 320. You can see my Skybound G.I. Joe box set of all the Marvel reprints, the compendium. I'm actually got volume 1's in my bedroom by my bedside, and I'm trying to read it. G.I. Joe was good, AL. I agree. This is a good book. It wraps up what's been going on. It, the ninja team that staked out Springfield, the Cobra nest, after the Cobra Civil War, and also the B squad that is checking out the Cobra Island. as well with Dr. Mindbender and the AI going on. So this is action filled. It's an escape from both. So, you have a good A story, a good B story. Cover Girl kills a few cobras with a knife. So it's brutal. It's lethal. I mean, and we end it and with a great Larry Hama G.I. Joe moment. The ninjas come home. Stalker with the clipboard in hand never bodes well. He said, and Snake Eyes, Don, you need to report to the range in the AM after PT. You have to update your qualifications on the new weapon systems we are adapting. G.I. Joe. And that's it for this part of the tale. But what I'm looking forward to next month's issue is this. So you got Snake Eyes and Dawn. They're both Snake Eyes. Dawn was a Cobra agent. Her parents were Crimson Guards, and she had Snake Eyes downloaded into her. So she's got all the Arishikage training, and so she is like a girl version of Snake Eyes, and hence the same eyepiece, and so she is like a backup Snake Eyes. So they are a team, but this is the 300th issue after Silent Interlude, issue 21, the famous Silent Interlude, the introduction of Storm Shadow, the one that had the silent issue that had Snake Eyes saving Scarlet. And so this is issue on 321, a celebration, another Silent Intrude. I'm looking forward to this one a lot. And these Andy Kubert covers are great, and it's a good time. I'm so happy to be a G.I. Joe fan. And we have Transformers 24 this week, wrapping up Daniel Warren Johnson and Jorge Corona's 2-year-long introductory arc. I bet next month, when Robert Kirkman and Dan Mora step in, we're going to get some more syzygy with the Energon universe. Hopefully some threads from Void Rivals will pick up from G.I. Joe Energon universe, and maybe Mask. We saw Matt Tracker, a race swapped Matt Tracker, but it was Matt Tracker of Mask all the same in the Energon Universe 2025 Free Comic Book Day special. And so Alan Z, let's go. I'm loving it. The Skybound universe, the Skybound Energon universe, and G.I. Joe, a Real American Hero. I am losing my voice again. I literally been talking all weekend, talking about YouTube, talking about comic books. I love our hobby, and please get out to your local comic book shop and spend your money. You need boxes, you need boards, you need bags. Spend your money at your local comic book shop. Don't buy them on your online supply chain. I know you can get a discount. I know I look at the prices, but how is that helping keeping our local comic book shops open? We need to give them our patronage, and we have a symbiotic life with our comic book shops. When they're gone, I don't think new comic book shops are opening very much anymore. So, I mean, we have to help this. Who's going to save comics? We are, by going to our local comic book shop and spending money there. So God bless. Namaste. Good luck. We will see you during the week with more videos, with some Smoking Puck, with some gratitude videos, and definitely next week on Comics Aficionados, 10 a.m. U.S. Eastern on Saturday, and I'll let you know when I'll be returning to Nick Weiser's Klobby's Comic Shop, because it's going to happen more and more. Seriously, because we were both like, why didn't we do this before? Why didn't we think of this before? Well, we thought of it now, and we're going to do it. So support your local comic book shop. That's right. Thank you, Dwayne Muth. Thank you, AL. Thank you, Lane Kramer. Thank you, JK. Thank you, James. Thank you, everyone out there who's tuning in during the replay. And please like and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed already, now is the best time, because we're 50% off of free. Just ask the local manager and the district manager and his assistant, and he'll give you an application to fill out. All right. God bless. Namaste. Good luck. And we will see you in those funny pages from Pikachu and I from our Boston studios. Hub of the multiverse. Have a great week. Ciao. Bye-bye.